So, my trading warrior brother Ronit, how are you, buddy? Waiting to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Got you. Happy
Yeah.
New Year. Happy New
Oh,
Year, my
same to you. Same to you. So how is everyone? So
everyone is dealing with the invisible enemy in the air. So interesting action. You want to share your screen here?
yeah, just
Rohit?
1 minute.
The green
Yeah,
box.
sorry. Can you see it?
Yep.
So let me start off with something interesting apart from markets. And this is Shiva temple. It's what's the speciality? It's somewhere in southern India. It's exactly 66 meters above, in length.
Yeah.
And the beauty about it is it doesn't cast a shadow in the afternoon, just like the obelisks of Egypt and other things. And
Right.
if you convert that into 200, feet, right, meters into feet, it comes to around 216 feet. Now the interesting part is it is 108 into 2. 108 is known to be a sacred Hindu number or sacred number all over the world. So again, you break it down into 27 into 8. It's the same thing. So
Yes.
how does it come into play over here? So we call something called the moon cycles, something like 27 nakshatras. So it's a lunar constellations. So each constellation is like 13 degree. So that's how I think W.D. Gann got his idea about 1 by 8 and other things. So this is 27 constellations of 360 degrees. So I just thought that this was interesting. And the most interesting part about this is that there are exactly 8 temples in India at exactly 79 degrees, 79.4 degrees or 79.2 degrees. Exactly. And Shiva is supposed to be the creator and destroyer in the Hindu mythology. But there are a lot of Shivlingas. It's like these meteoric stones which are there all over the world. Even in Russia, they found something interesting. So that's how I think W.D. Gann got 8 points. That's why they say 1 by 8, 3 by 8, and it goes on like that. Like
you've told me that Gann did travel to India.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Jesus.
But we don't have any proof for that. But yes, there was a trade route from southern India called Kerala, which was very way advanced. It was ahead of its time, and they used to do a lot of spice trade between Rome, and they went through Egypt. That is, they had to pay taxes in gold, something like 20% or something like that. And in those days, we were like something like China, and we actually sold spices and got a lot of gold for it. That's why India has a lot of gold, because we always traded across the board. And that's why the GDP was more than 40% or something like 1,000 years back. That's why everybody loves India.
Yeah.
So there was a time when Romans actually saw that they lost a lot of money because of, they were losing gold, just like US was. US is right now. And what really happened is they demonetized this gold, like they reduced 10%, 20%. But the merchants were smart enough, and they actually they took a lot of demonetized gold also. That's why in the coastal areas, if you see in India, if they unearth some gold coins under the earth, you can see there are 10%. There is a 10%, 90% mix or something like that. So that's the old trade route. What they talk about, Silk Route.
Okay. So now everyone, you could see what Ronit's approach to the markets are, these numbers and these cycles, and I call it very esoteric work. So I find it fascinating. I hope you guys do too. So
I just don't want to start it in a normal way. I just want to create something interesting apart from markets.
Okay.
So even Nikola Tesla was actually very much involved in this 0 point energy. So if you really see, you can see the screen, right? This is called 0 point energy. So if you see one square, and then it's 2 square, and then 2 square and 2 cube, 2 power 4. It goes on like that. But you see, there is a repetition of patterns: 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Can you see that on the right hand side?
Yes, got it.
So this guy, there is something over there that they discovered, and but they couldn't continue it. Even cellular mitosis, which they talk about, it's the same pattern: 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. It keeps repeating. So it's still, I'm researching on this, but there is a pattern out there which can be used in markets.
The creator was a mathematician.
You could say the creator was, he could be there out there, but he doesn't want to show us he's there.
Yeah. But
So,
everything is based on mathematics.
Exactly. There is this Fibonacci numbers or something like that. It cannot be a coincidence everywhere.
Right.
So why
right.
everybody uses Fibonacci numbers in markets and lots of things? Why? There is no proper answer to it because it works. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So these are fib angles you're going to talk about here, huh?
That's right. So if you look at it, 360 degrees, phi, everybody knows 1.618.
Yeah.
So if you actually divide 360 divided by 1.618, it's 222. Now, you can see these in Masonic symbols also, that angle, the G angle, and it's 37.5. But technically, it's scientific in nature. When you actually see a rainbow, right, with your naked eye, you have that kind of angle. On top of the angle, you can actually see there is angle formation over there. But I'll show you how it is used in markets also. So we'll
very interesting, buddy.
And this is a famous temple in Konark. It's a sun temple. So do you observe one thing? It has 8 spokes. So it is used for calculating time. And again, WD GAN used 1.1/8 and other things, which was very interesting.
Amazing.
So let's move on to the markets. So US markets, again, we had a sell-off in February and it has just come back. But if you really see, it's a rising wedge. So it did break that rising wedge. Again, it is forming the rising wedge. Now, what's interesting about that, if you actually see it, I've drawn a blue arrow. That's around 375% or something like that. Okay. But from 1932 to 1937, it was exactly the same percentage. So if you actually calculate something like what was the bottom in March 09, 6469 into 4.75. That's around 37,700. Didn't we hit that? 30,700 recently. Yeah. So there is a possibility that this could be the big event which could happen. Another interesting chart in the last Fibonacci interview, I did show you about these Fibonacci extensions. So if you consider 1974 as starting point, and second point is around 1987 crash. It extends, and you can see the financial crisis 1.618, September 2008, and it started exactly to 50%. So in this area, we will experience a lot of jolts. I don't know if it will break out, but it could due to liquidity events. But this is something to note, that why this is happening and why the currency should be behaving. We'll look at the currencies in the dollar. Okay. So again, it's the same chart, which is channel. It's overbought and other things it shows. There are 3 points which are very important: 1929, 2000, and recent high 30,700. Okay.
Okay.
So let's move on to, okay, this is a very interesting chart. See, everybody says that the dollar actually, if it goes higher, the US market capital flows could, it could actually make the equity markets go even higher. But technically, this is not true. If you really see the overlay over here, the blue lines, well, that's the dollar chart. The US market never jumped higher till 1985. If you really see over here, 1985, when it topped out, it had just broken out 1,000 barrier.
I remember
that's when the credit started flowing outwards. So even Elliott Wave, Robert Prechter was talking about, this could be a credit event and everything should fall apart because of the Plaza Accord and other things. So what really happened over here? So they shot down yields over here and recirculated the dollar, creating globalization. Okay. So again, if you really see, whenever the dollar rallies, it could break the equity markets all over the world. So we'll see that over there, why the dollar is the key to everything. So
are you still dollar bull, buddy?
yes. Until it breaks 88 DXY, I don't think I'll change my mind, but I would change my mind then, and then see that dollar could actually break down to something like 50 DXY or something like that. But even now, the events which are I'm looking at something like cryptocurrencies, which is a liquidity factor. We look into that charts also, where Bitcoin is actually topped out right now. I was expecting something like what caused the Bitcoin to move from 12,000 to 34,000 or something like that. So if you really overlay, the recent dollar collapse was when the Bitcoin actually started spiking around 12,000. So we'll come to that chart. So anybody who wants to have exact monthly levels of Dow, when it will break down, you can actually look at it. 29,776, you can say that US market and all markets all over the world will start selling off very rapidly. So this could be a technical stuff. Okay. So now let's come to that esoteric thing which you are looking at. If this is a particular angle and you're looking at this peak, it's a rising wedge, expanding triangle. So if it started in 2009, when should it end? So somewhere in between from now and 2032. That's 100-year cycle from 1932. So that's something interesting where all these virus things, which are actually more to do with debt, and created this to actually recorner the world. We can come to that again because it's again a conspiracy thing. People will call it conspiracy.
Interesting.
Okay. So let's look at this gold. So this is very important to understand why gold could even rally if dollar index actually even goes higher. So you see the breakout point, $880.
Yeah.
That will actually set the trend for 2,800 to 4,500 in a very quick time. So we did talk about it in my previous interview.
Yeah, you're spot on gold.
Because I saw this debt which was expanding. The gold was actually expanding faster. The value of excess, that is federal debt to gold. So this is one more interesting concept, Dow Gold Ratio. Now during this, if you really see, it was around 14 close to elections, right? So what caused this to move over here? So that means this is a very important indicator to understand what's moving faster. So what is the breaking point of Dow now, considering gold? So whenever gold rallies, there is a problem, everybody says, right? So if you consider 14.6, roughly 15. So if a breakout about 2,000 and 30,000 Dow breaks, then all hell will break loose over here. So we saw that in February 2020, the pink line. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that's where it actually, everything, all the assets are created, but most of the important assets are dollar, gold, and Dow. So that's how everybody readjusts itself dramatically. This is again the GAN fan, which actually talks about there is a breakout happening till it stands above 1875, 1920. It's going to launch itself to 4,500. So the dollar should not collapse. That's a very critical thing. But we have to see. This is again a technical thing which people can use to see if there is a breakout or not. 1853, where do you put your stops? Where it's going to break out? 2100, it's a confirmed deal, something like that on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So you can ask me some questions.
Okay. Well, interesting presentation. So, do you think that we're this pullback in the dollars that's starting to give you some signs that we're starting to bottom here around this 89.30 level, or 88 is your line in the sand? And if we take out 88, you said we could probably go to 50?
Yeah, that's around 50 or 54. So we are looking at the screen on dollar index. So this is a multi-decade dollar index chart and what caused it, and that's secondary. But what's the cycle saying? So if March 2008 was a cycle, then August 2011 was a cycle, and August 14th was a cycle. You see, there is another cycle which is coming up.
Yeah.
That's January 2021. That means all the assets are going to flip. So they're rallying into that event. So what could be that event? Probably Trump would do something and he would get reelected. You never know. Or there could be a logjam, or it could be something else. Trigger can be anything. But what causes that event is not important. When it is about to happen, it's a very critical thing. So
Okay,
Jan
and
20.
some of your upside objectives are, people would say aggressive, but you're talking about the dollar index maybe going to what, 196 up there?
No, somewhere around 245 to
Oh,
250.
245. Okay,
So
even more
let's,
aggressive.
yeah, basically what's really happening? It's something like Bitcoin, right? Everybody
Yeah.
short dollar, borrowed
Yeah.
dollars, and the moment there is a dollar squeeze, that is, they have to the credit event happens all over the world. Everybody has to buy back, sell the assets. So this is where the real catch-22 situation in the previous interview, where I was explaining that May 2019, there was a flip which was happening. All the central banks got together and said, we need to get rid of the dollar. And the US treasuries were sold. There was a chart over there in the previous interview. I don't have it because I hurried through this. So, and December 2019, you could actually see there is a repo crisis which happened September in 2019.
Right.
And this happens exactly cyclically, like 6 months or 7 months. You can see there is a time lag. Now, March 2007 or April 2007, when crude made a bottom, you add 7 to it, it comes 7 to 9 to it, that's a credit event. Again, it'll repeat. So because the same thing happened in 2016, and Prime Minister Modi over here, everybody thought he's doing it for good reason. But there was a trial run, which was a dry run, which was done because they were not expecting Trump to come in. And I mean, it was really absurd. Like one day before Trump was elected, he announced that. So that means there is some machinery which is working towards to actually cause this event. So it's not a conspiracy. You need data to provide why it is happening and what level it's happening. So let's look at this dollar. This is what I was talking about. Now, whenever dollar index goes below 89, that's always an inflationary event. You can actually look at it in 1988, 89, 92. Yeah, we had emerging markets were called Asian tigers, and they did very well because they recirculated those dollars. And then after 1997 LTCM, it just flipped. That's why the crisis, whenever it happens, there is a crisis. So you can see over there 2017, 2016 over there. Can you see over here my arrow? Yeah. And that's where the crude bottomed out, or the dollar bottomed out and started rallying. So this is a very important zone. So that's why they can't allow it to go above 105 or 104, because all the asset classes all over the world started breaking. And now the asset values are much higher. Everybody knows it. So you have to watch the dollar. So if Trump doesn't win or something like that, 89 or 88, that's the final stop. If it breaks, this channel is complete. And you can see it's going to be really violent. And so that's why we have to watch gold with it too. So what cracks it? Because majority of even if you see people like Jack Schneider are talking about these $0 systems where they borrow against bonds. So that's huge, big. So if those US bonds get into trouble, if rate spikes too fast, some event will occur and the currency starts unwinding. So our hint is US dollar, DXY, and USD yen, which I'll come on to the next one. So let's move on to the Euro chart.
I think the yen turned today.
That's right. So it's a key date today. 6th or 14th, there's going to be a huge event. And we have to watch that. And that means if 30,000 Dow breaks, you have to take a position on the opposite side. So you can see over here, it's again cycle. This is a Euro chart. So how that area is protected around that 1.09.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the upside, it's not going to break out that 1.23. We'll come on to that next.
Okay.
We'll also look at this is another cycle, same thing. If it actually slips and falls hard till 2027, I don't think there will be any euro left over there. So I think that the euro is going to go bust, but we'll see how it happens. Okay. So we had to look at more evidences. So this is again a Gantt chart. You can see the green line. It's a very big resistance. It had that touch in 2017 and then in 1998 and 2005. You can see there. There are multiple points.
Hey, bro. Sonny Gill is asking if you could give us the Mega Million lottery numbers for this Friday.
I didn't get it. What?
You know, we have lotteries here in the U.S., so your stuff is so fascinating. They think you could probably pick the lottery numbers for us.
Okay, Friday. I could do that. I could do that offline.
Okay, buddy, go ahead.
Okay.
You're a hit, okay? Someone,
okay.
Hugo saying coolest dude ever. Wow. So you're wowing the crowd today, buddy.
Okay, I really appreciate. I appreciate that.
Go on.
So let's look at this euro. So let's see if euro actually does spike, and we have this small inflationary rally. So how far it could get? Somewhere around 1.23, and then it forms a rising wedge around 1.35. That could mean that gold hits somewhere around 3,000 to 5,000, and then it flips. So you have to look at this dynamics very well. You have to watch gold. What is happening with the dollar? 1.23 if it breaks or not. If 1.23 breaks, you just short it, close your eyes and short it. So this is again euro. Now let's look at British pound. So whenever there is a euro fall, the British pound also falls. That's why it never took out that 1.3637. So last time we discussed about this, and I said that it could spike back up. You know, it did break down, and it could spike back up, and then make a final blow. So this is a deciding factor. So all the charts are coming together. So to a credit event. So let's look at the next one. This is a cycle. You can see 1980s, 2007, then 1985 bottom, and the Brexit one. You can see over there. It's actually 4 years apart. You can call it presidential cycles, possible. But again, all these currencies are showing same thing. The agenda of 2030, that there won't be any currencies, so we're going to free float. So they already made up their mind that they can't carry this forward, and they are trying to do something with CBDC, digital currency, where Christine Lagarde talked about it, and that's I explained in my last interview that how these guys started it in May 2019 and how she was actually elected over there at the particular time. Even Rishi Sunak, who was actually a UK exchequer or something like that. He's the son-in-law of Infosys, which is managing this Aadhaar system or something like that. So they're doing something behind the scenes to create digital India and digital, but it's actually the digital world. So this is the real key to what's really happening. Will the euro survive or the dollar survive? So this chart is nothing but a pair, USD CNY divided by Euro USD. That means if this trend is really happening on the top, USD CNY will depreciate faster and Euro USD will fall faster. So that's also meeting at a particular cycle. It's from 1980s, you can actually see. So you see 2017 starting.
Yeah.
And now it's actually coming together. So it's highly oversold. So we have to watch if that breaks 5 or 5.2, whether it breaks or makes. So it's a make or break for Euro. Most important chart for the gold. So this is USD yen. So what everybody's talking about is going to have a pullback. But look at, would you actually buy it over here?
It depends. Yeah, it was all it did was move sideways.
Yes. Why it is moving sideways is that if it falls, there is a possibility that gold spikes and even Euro starts falling apart. So that's again an event. You can actually see when we had this February 20 event, it fell very sharply from 109 or 110 to 102 or something like that. So if this pattern is complete, you can see it can go to 45. That's why I'm very bullish on gold, because there is an inverse relation post 1995 that if USD yen actually falls, gold rises. You can see 2007 to 2011 or something like that. So same pattern.
So can we break out, and that would bring in a bear? Can we break out to the upside, and that would cause a bear market in gold? Say U.S. dollar yen initially gets to like 111 and then 120. Would you expect lower gold prices?
Yes, it could. It could actually pull back to something like 1700 or 1800. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But that depends on where is the USD yen.
Yeah.
So if it's not breaking out 104, watch out.
Okay. Yeah. 104 is a
not.
big number. If we get to 104, the wedge to me looks like 110. It's coming.
Exactly.
So, all right.
So you can see
What
the
a-
pattern over here. That's an inverse coloration.
This was your best presentation yet, man.
Oh, I actually finished it in half an hour. Normally, I took a longer time since you
N-
gave me a short time to talk about. So,
Okay.
oh, what happened?
So, all right. So, what's the best way for people to follow you, man? On
Uh,
Twitter?
yeah, you can ask something on Twitter. I do answer. You can actually message me. Um,
Okay. Are you
uh,
managing? You told me some fund was considering hiring you for your research. Did that happen for you?
yes, yes, it happened, and we need to set up a team which does that. So it's
Okay.
research, quant research. They are actually major in commodities, and
Okay.
we wanted to do something like a quant research plus a trading firm over here from India. Nothing outside India right now. I mean,
Okay.
so that's coming up well. So even in this COVID time, we couldn't move out. So finally, that guy made it. So let's see. Positive. Fingers crossed.
All right. So, for those of you, I'm going to put Ronit's.
There's one more chart if you can
Oh
actually see
yeah,
my
go. No,
screen.
you have time. I'm just going to put
Okay.
this.
So
Your.
this is the most important chart. Okay, this is federal debt to gold. So if what happens is if federal debt is not going to increase, if it does increase, gold actually starts selling off for some reason. But it's actually at a critical point where it if the federal debt doesn't increase, gold could actually break out to 2,700. So you can see that 13,800 divided by 9,700. But the real target is if these guys are not going to allow things to fall, then from 2,700, it could go to 1,000, or something like 9,700 to 1,000. That means tenfold increase to something like 27,000 gold, which is unimaginable. It's obviously hyperinflation. So even if other currencies appreciate, this is the most important chart which I am looking at for the dollar rally. This is federal debt divided by DXY. So notice that in February 2020, it was about to break that trend, the dotted line,
Yeah.
and they had to expand the debt in order to actually stop the dollar rally. And now it is actually hitting that point. You can see in the next chart very easily. February, March 20, the Fed had to actually increase the debt so that the dollar would depreciate. So this is the real problem. What Jack Schneider and other guys are talking. I'm talking in technical terms because I'm not as good as them. But
Okay.
you can see one more chart with federal debt to Dow. So this is the most important chart you got to watch. Is that if the debt does expand, how far will the Dow go? So you can see that yellow line.
Yeah.
That's the 2009 record. So that means the amount of debt is increased. Equity markets move in proportion. So if you don't like that, you can actually look at these numbers. So 29,400. If it stays above that, it has a shot at 47,400, 47,000, which is what this previous chart was talking about. So
Okay.
to the current debt, but this is again a rising wedge. You got to watch out 29,400, 29,500. If
Yeah.
that
We
breaks,
could
it's a
get a
confirmed
throw
sell.
over. We could also get a little bit of a throw over too, right?
Exactly. For that, you need to watch the dollar 88, 89. Are you getting a divergence or not? And that's
Yeah.
a very critical part of the game. This is a CRB commodity index. Again, it is hitting that resistance. It didn't take off like 2002, but you see the red lines, those are cycles. And it is hitting another cycle January 2021. So it could, if the dollar turns, it'll be very violent for commodities. You will get unexpected levels in commodities. You could have something like copper going down like crude. So this is again, next chart is again CRB index divided by dollar index. It's
Hmm.
breaking out, but not yet. But it is hitting that point of confluence where it could break down. And this is again copper and crude. So they are also hitting certain resistances. So crude has not moved up, copper has moved up. So that's balancing that whole thing. But the next time it turns, what is the timeline where it will make a bottom? So if it started, the rally started in March, January, it should end by December 2021. You got to keep a watch on January to December 2021. That's 11-month cycles. And copper has this rising wedge, 3.66. So don't be bullish till it is not breaking out. But if dollar index breaks down, it will go to something like 5.5 or something like. So it's
Okay.
a very tight zone. This is again the US Treasuries again started falling apart. They've broken the trend. So that there is a possibility that the dollar would rally. This is another confirmation. This is another confirmation on TradingView. There's a trend line which is breaking. So it's a make or break for people who are actually long short. This is Goldman Sachs commodity index. This is again heading that trend line. It's still not there, but if it does turn, watch out for this whole year, the commodity meltdown, and then the whole thing will flip. One
The
of the
whole
biggest
ball
hints,
game, the whole ball game's the dollar.
exactly.
For
So
everything else, it's
the
a fulcrum of the wheel.
exactly, it's the center of everything. So it's not gonna collapse so easily. This is the most important chart, Kuwaitian dinar. That
You've
means,
said that before.
oh, sorry.
Every chart's the most important one. That's because they're all important, but go ahead.
Yeah, because you got to see data points. Why are you actually justifying what you're saying? So
Right.
Kuwaitian dinar, it did turn in January 02. You can see it's hit a cycle point, January 20. So how long it will depreciate? Till June 2027. That means commodities will be in a bear market till 2027 if the dollar rallies. You have to watch out for Trump only. So dollar index, this is a key level, 87.8. Now you know what is the level. Pink
Right.
line,
Yeah.
which you can see. And if it melts
Yeah.
down, you have to change. You have to change, flip very fast.
Okay.
This is the combined index of Euro and GBP. You can see the rising wedge.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing.
Yeah.
Let's look at the final FX things. If everything else is collapsing against the dollar, that means it's a combined index of GBP, Euro, Aussie dollar, and USD yen. It's broken the trend. It's not galloping up, but that's a danger sign. So that's a danger sign. And you can see Bitcoin. If somebody wants cryptos, watch out. It's almost ended. And if somebody wants exact levels, 33,000. That's the area to watch. Is it breaking out or not? Because it's connecting all the tops. So
Okay.
Bitcoin, 12,000. If the dollar is flipping, watch out. It's going to flip very fast, and don't be very bullish. If you're really bullish, you can actually look at market cap of Bitcoin to Ethereum, which has actually started outperforming. That means Ethereum will outperform uh, Bitcoin. So I think that's it. This is Sensex. If somebody wants Indian Sensex, this is also forming a rising wedge. So
Okay.
so everything is connected. So that's it.
Great
So I shouldn't do much
presentation.
more.
Great presentation, Ronit. And I appreciate all the contributions that you send me to keep me aware. And I think it's great to be proud of your heritage and then put it to work for you, and having that passion for discovery and applying it to the financial markets. I appreciate you being here today, edifying the F.A.C.E community. Thank you,
Great.
my trading warrior brother.
Thank you. Thank you, Dale. Thank you for having me.
All right, and I hope that this video gets you another hedge fund to work for too. So um, you're my friend, my trading warrior brother. Happy New Year,
Happy
and
New
may
Year.
you have a very green year. Okay, buddy.
Yes, yes. I hope all of us have a green year. So I really
Okay.
appreciate it. Have a
All right.
great, good, safe, and healthy green year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I need your last name. What's the last name again, Ronan?
Ronit S. You can actually say.
All right, leave it for me on Twitter because Steve wants a
Sure.
last name for the write up. So
Sure, sure.
thanks again, buddy. So that's a
Thanks.
wrap, everyone, for a wonderful Wednesday. Ronit giving you a lot of food for thought, and the last days of ancient sunlight. Okay,
Oh, you
so
saw that, right?
yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
up there now.
Yeah, actually, this is the most interesting part. Why they're actually looking at 2030. So I'm really sorry. 1 minute.
That's all right.
The most interesting part is every 12 years, what happens is the population goes up by 1.2 billion. So you have
Yeah,
birth of Jesus. So that's
yeah,
why they're actually looking at 2030. You see 2011, that was the commodity crash. 1999, 1987, these are all important years. So it's
yeah,
funny that it matches. so
yeah. It is something.
so
It's
it's
all.
something like the James Bond movie. What's the new title? Something like so No Time to Die. So
Oh yeah, and it's
give you
also
idea.
like a tapestry. When you look at the back of a tapestry, it's like random chaotic threads, and then you
Correct.
turn it around and beautiful patterns.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
all right, great way to start the new year. Thank you again, Ronit. And
Thanks. Thanks. For
everyone in
having me.
Face, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, don't just count your pips or count your cycles, count your blessings. We'll see everyone tomorrow. You're welcome,
Stay healthy.
Sonny,
Stay
Laura,
healthy.
Alexandra, Ronit. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you.